Exactly.
That's a new segment on the show.
Brand new. It's coming up at 9 o'clock. You know what? It's been tough the last month as we're doing the Friday thing. It's going to be live at the America First warehouse, and a lot of changes going on, like peripherally here. Trying to make some adjustments, and I'm not trying to overload Fran and Aaron on stuff, so I've been kind of holding back. So I got like 5 or 6 topics that I've been playing with, but then Monday I came up with one. And I think
it just wrote itself? It started to write itself?
It started to write itself. I'm like, there we go. We're rolling.
I'm looking forward to it.
So it'll be 9 o'clock, a brand new What Even Is That for everybody asking. And, of course, now Damon, how are you?
I'm very good. Now that we have a stream going and we have a connection, we have we have fixed the technical issues here in the studio to launch the show. Everything is live. If you're watching on social media, Real America's Voice, everything should be up and running on all social media. Welcome on in. Thank you, boys, for starting the show there. It was of course, it happens a minute to go, of course. Because it can't happen at 7 o'clock. It has to happen at 8 o'clock. At 8 o'clock, everything goes. So, but it looks like we got it fixed. How are you guys? Delgado, how are you?
I am
What even is that, huh?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Do you
Inspiration by subject matter? Is that so?
Subject matter, yeah.
Because you've been kind of taking it easy. On the what even is
that?
Well, I mean, I don't know, Paul, if you agree with me. I'm sure you probably do. The last time he did one was, a while ago, right?
Yeah, well, he doesn't want to inundate Aaron and Fran. Those guys have been working so hard about getting the Real America's Voice warehouse going. So you're not going to pit me against him now.
Okay.
I know what you're doing. That's not happening.
You're defending him. All right, it didn't work. All right, that's fine. Well, it's been a little bit.
Yeah, it's been a little bit. So, but I think it's a worthy subject.
Mm-hmm.
And
could I guess the subject?
You could guess a subject. Well, you might know. You know the subject because I think I emailed it to you.
No, I deleted it right away when I saw
did?
it because I knew Aaron was going to do it.
Oh, okay.
I literally didn't open it. So I don't know the subject matter.
All right. You want
Give me a hint?
You want a hint?
Yeah, I'd love one.
It's called. Well, what would be my hint?
Oh boy,
Aaron, you want to give me the hint instead since he's silent here on air?
No.
For a guy who grew up on radio and TV, you would think you would have answers.
All right, well, wait till 9 o'clock.
Now you got me against it.
Actually, I do have a hint.
Okay, go.
Out of this world.
Wow.
See, I was trying to make it as obvious.
I mean, that doesn't really narrow it down.
I was going to say with Delgado, what is that? That narrows it down to what solar system? I mean, come on.
Thank you, Aaron. Yes, it's out of this world.
Oh, I'm sure it's out of this world. So
he could be talking about pizza from like Maspeth, New York, like Rosa's. That's out of this world.
Okay.
So
could be anything, yeah.
Yeah, could be anything.
The point is, stay tuned to 9 p.m. Eastern time, and we'll all find out together what is out of this world. Delgado will do what even is that. Paul Nolan, how are you?
I'm good.
How was your day?
I am good. It was a nice day. Nice day. Getting things in order. My next big job is lined up. Got the one following it in place. So just had some nice time with my mom. She's
how's she feeling?
She's just so old and little. My little Italian mama.
No, I just want to hear you lead with that, Paul.
She's shrinking.
She's so old?
Yeah, she's going to be 90.
Wow. Oh, God bless.
Yeah, but she doesn't move so much. So
how much has she shrunk?
She is tiny.
Just
little
tiny?
Italian
Like,
mama is just so little now. It's like she's shrinking.
Like my mom was small to begin with.
Mine too.
And now she's even smaller. And her hair's like gone totally white. So she kind of looked, when they had that picture of Bon Jovi saving that person from jumping off the bridge, she looked like frickin' Bon Jovi. Because Bon Jovi now looks old with the gray hair.
Yeah, man, he can't
he
sing
is
worth
tiny.
a lick either now.
By the way, I
found
found some.
Oh my God, sounds like Bon Iver.
I found somebody who does 3D printing, and they're going to make 3D bobbleheads of us.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. That's pretty cool.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'm going to work on that.
Okay, good. I like
This will
that.
be fun.
Look at that.
All right, Aaron and Fran holding it down on a Wednesday. Man, the week's flying. It's already Wednesday. We'll be at the America First Warehouse on Friday. Thank you to those who watched our little behind-the-scenes video and enjoyed it. I got lots of messages on that. Thank you very much. It's on our X exclusively.
Wait, we did a behind-the-scenes video?
Well, I did, yeah. It's on our X if you want to watch it, Delgado. You should probably follow our X, too. Might be a good idea.
I do?
Anyways, well, so where do we start? I guess we start with that self-absorbed wannabe, Chris Van Hollen, who my understanding is exactly what I was hoping for happened. He got down there and nothing happened.
Yes.
Absolutely nothing happened because the vice president of El Salvador said, yeah, I don't think so. Is that pretty much what your understanding
That's
is?
pretty much what happened, yeah.
Yeah, and the Trump administration went on the offensive today, I think, in their timing of everything. But I tell you, I, as much as we talked about it on the show, and as much as obviously we talk about it, I don't want to sound like a broken record, I watched this whole thing even still today play out, and I just can't believe what I'm watching. I just cannot believe that this is the hill that they've decided that they're going to, this is they just have no self-awareness, no self-control.
Or common sense.
No common sense. Yeah. This guy has constituents who have been killed by illegal aliens, who was nowhere to be found. Again, even if you dispute the MS-13, which I don't think is even disputable anymore, but even if going into today, and I think the Trump administration the Justice Department did a good job of dropping when they dropped today information on that. Mm-hmm. The guy, we're going to go to the mat for people breaking our laws, being here illegally. We find out today there was a domestic violence arrest.
Yep.
I think was it an arrest?
Yeah,
he liked
to smack around his wife.
Yeah. So these are the people that the Democrats are going to the mat for, and literally flying this self-absorbed yuppie going down there with the cameras, and that's all he's interested in. He has zero interest in anything other than the attention he's getting.
Yeah, photo op, just a big photo op.
Goes down there, of course, knowing that there's no way what he thinks is going to happen is going to happen. He knows that going in. Of course he knows that.
He was told that probably before he even landed, even before he left. Before he probably boarded the plane,
he knew.
They probably told him there is not a chance for you to do this. You probably shouldn't come down. But again, he was going there. Why? Look at me, look at me, look at me. Yeah. That's all he's concerned about. Look at me.
Meanwhile, normal people are watching Rachel Morin's mom heartbroken on TV, letting them know how stupid they are, how insensitive they are, and how tone deaf they are.
Yeah, and I have that, and it's worth watching all 7 minutes of it. Every word of it is worth. And that was in the press briefing room today. Another good move by the administration today amongst many. And one of them, other moves they made was the DOJ released some documents today. I actually posted a couple of them in response to that fool, Van Hollen, who's arguing, as many others are arguing, that there's no connection. This guy, there's no proof. There's no court has ever weighed in on the MS-13 thing. Excuse me? Like, you don't even have to be...
No, the tattoos
John
on his
Solomon.
face that say MS-13, no, they don't count.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's not like you have to even be an investigative reporter of that ilk. You could be me and find out that that's not true in about 10 minutes with just a little effort, going through the court documents or going through socials. People have been posted to the links. So the DOJ today released proof that Abrego Garcia was a member of MS-13, that he received due process, and that he was denied bond for being a flight risk. He was arrested in a parking lot wearing a Bulls hat and hoodie with rolls of money covering his eyes, ears, and mouth. This mimics the see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil concept, often stylized in gang or rap culture to imply wealth, defiance, or silence, not snitching, a common symbol of the MS-13 affiliation. The Chicago Bulls logo is widely worn in gang culture and has been adopted by some sets of gangs, including MS-13, the Bloods, and gangster disciples in different regions. He was arrested with 3 other known members of MS-13. I'm sure they were just,
just good kids.
Yeah. He challenged the gang affiliation finding, and then he lost on appeal. In addition to the garb, there was a reliable informant who confirmed that he was, in fact, a known member of MS-13. Criminal illegal alien, known gangbanger, received due process and presented evidence of his innocence only to be denied by an appeals court. And I've linked to both of those on our X of what the DOJ released today and the court filings. So for those saying, oh, no court ever weighed in on this, they absolutely did.
Yeah. I think there are 2 orders of deportation for this guy.
there's the original hearing. I linked to both of them. And then there was the bond hearing that was soon after that, where they acknowledged that he was, in fact, linked to the MS-13 gang.
Right. And then you got this story from the Daily Mail. You know, we're talking about him smacking his wife around. Headline, wife of deported Maryland man, quote unquote, reveals horrors she experienced at his hands in scathing police report. The wife of deported Salvadorian migrant Kilmar Garcia accused her husband of violently beating her multiple times in a 2021 court filing exclusively obtained by the Daily Mail. Abrego Garcia, 29, was deported from Maryland, blah, blah, blah. Since his removal, we all know that story. But a 2021 petition for protection from domestic violence filled out by Abrego's wife, Jennifer Vasquez, which was obtained by Daily Mail, states that the alleged MS-13 member beat his wife multiple times over the years, including with his work boots. In 2020, he hit her in the eye, causing her to get a black eye, according to the petition. This is a good guy. This is someone that this is what the Democrats stand for.
Yeah.
Forget about we're here to protect women. Yeah. It's okay. You can beat women if you're an illegal immigrant.
That's the guy you want to hire for babysitting.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, 13 to the hour, live from Studios 13 after the hour, 13 past the hour, live from Studio 6B. It's a slow start here on a Wednesday, but we're going to pick it up. Don't you worry. Real America's Voice and across the airways of 103.9 LI News Radio, Long Island, New York. We're back with news and more on this and the news of the day when we get back. 3 minutes. We're back.
Chat. Live in the chat. Where's Slick? You say he was running late? Huh? I can hear.
I believe he had a meeting tonight.
Oh, he had a meeting.
It's truly astounding that these wackos are going to die on that hill again. It's just another 90-10, not even 80-20. It's just astounding.
Yeah.
And then the media just keeps pumping it. And it's almost like the executives at the giant networks are like, let's see what we get these morons to believe next. It's like a big gag they got running.
Do we have a cut list there, Aaron's?
I emailed it to you already.
Oh, because I keep refreshing it to pop up. Oh, there it is. Now it's there. Fabulous. Let's jump in the chats. Rumblers. I already chimed in on the Rumblers. How you guys doing there? MAGA Patriot 63. Frederick Leathers. Joe Ed Jr. Razzo 76. Ordinary Passenger. Corn Pop 007. Marty Kin with a $1 rant. Damon, kicking the night off. Hey, Delgado, check this out. From 100% Fed Up, top Trump official, we have technology to manipulate time and space. Thank you, Marty Kin. I'm going to go look that up. That just might take over the top of the news.
All right, live from Studio 6B, 17 past the hour on a Wednesday night. Lots to do tonight. We got news, we got sports, we got news with Paul Nolan. We're going to talk about the markets. We're going to talk about retirement. We're going to talk about gold with Philip Patrick from Birch Gold is going to join us. Parker Faulkner from the Retire Happy Network is going to join us, so we'll talk about that. The Fed was out today speaking. The Federal Reserve Chairman, Jerome Powell, speaking today, says, well, the fiscal operating debt of the country is not unsustainable as of now, but it's on an unsustainable path. Excuse me?
Huh?
If you can make sense of that, please let me know. It's not unsustainable now, but it's on an unsustainable path. So I guess there's a number or there's a barrier or there's something somewhere
Talk about covering your bases, huh, D?
that he decides, okay, now it's too much. 36 trillion? Nope. Not unsustainable. Unsustainable path it's on, but 36 trillion not unsustainable. That can be dealt with. Oh, okay. Please raise your hand if you're in Washington and you're really willing and able to cut spending and start to deal with 36 trillion. Oh, none of you. Oh, I forgot. Okay. So I don't know when we get to unsustainable, but the Fed, I guess maybe he'll let us know, but we're on an unsustainable path.
Right.
But the current number is not unsustainable, is
Not yet.
essentially what he said.
I think.
And this is why when I talk about retirement, and again, we may have a little bit of a window of a buffer right now because Trump won and he's in. And they're going to hopefully extend the Trump tax cuts without hopefully blowing in more of a hole in the deficit. But when you talk about retirement and you talk about somewhere down the line, taxes in this country have to go up. This is why I talk about it. Because none of them want to cut spending. And the only way they're going to raise revenue to be dealing with these deficits and this kind of debt is going to be to raise taxes at some point. It may not be in the next 3.5 years. And God willing, they don't win another election and it's not then. But at some point, if they do win, or you live in one of these blue hell states, your taxes have no place to go up. And if you're entering those years of retirement and you have all your money in some kind of pre-taxed 401k, you know.
Well, you're saying they'll find a way to steal that too?
Well, they're the general partner in that deal. You're the limited partner. So they're going to set the terms of it. And if they want to change the terms of it and say, well, it's not 28% anymore, now it's 88%. There's not much you can do about it. So you got to plan for these things now. So we'll talk about the Fed. We'll talk about all that as well. We've got Rachel Morin's mom who was in there. But I saw this tweet today. Oh, so let me just get back to the tweet on what the court found. This is from the court filing. After considering the information provided by both parties, the court concluded that no bond was appropriate in this matter. The court first reasoned that the respondent failed to meet his burden of demonstrating that his release from custody would not pose a danger to others, as the evidence shows that he is a verified member of MS-13. That is in the court documents on the bail hearing for this guy, the guy that the Democrats are in love with, just like they're in love with Mangione, the guy who shot the healthcare guy, and Taylor Lorenz and all that. This is where they're at. As Charlie Kirk, I saw it in a tweet yesterday. I think I read it on the show last night. Find somebody who loves you the way the Democrats love their El Salvadorian gangbangers that they want to bring back to the country. Unbelievable what we're watching in real time. From people on socials, from this guy Van Hollen, who's just an absolute loser. Just unbelievable. And Rachel Morin's mom was in the press briefing room today, which...
Gut-wrenching.
Well, we don't have time to actually. It's longer than what we have time left. So you know what? Let's hold that. We'll try to get to that during the show, at least a little bit of it. I think it's worth watching every word of it myself. But
okay.
Let's do some news right now. Slick will be here. He's going to run a little late. He'll be here to do sports, but let's do some news right now while we can with Rick Delgado. What's going on?
All right. Well, I was going to start with, of course, the mother of Rachel Morin, Patty Morin, but we're going to hold off on that. So let's jump over to this. I don't know if you saw this. The FBI arrested the FBI agent who targeted Rudy Giuliani And then that guy has just decided he's going to hire the same law firm that defended you-know-who, the best son in the world, the smartest man in the room, the smartest man he knows, Hunter Biden, an arrested FBI agent who publicly alleged Trump ally Rudy Giuliani may be compromised by Russia. Russia. We know that trick. Who had denied the FBI mishandled its investigation of Hunter Biden is now represented by the same law firm that defended Joe Biden's dirtbag son, Hunter Biden. The agent, I threw that in. This is from Just the News, so John Solomon wouldn't write dirtbag. I did. The agent Jonathan Buma, who had handled confidential human sources for the Bureau and whose home had been raided by the FBI back in 2023, he was arrested at JFK Airport in New York City in March for the alleged illegal disclosure of confidential information. He's being prosecuted in California. I believe he was trying to leave the country, Damon. Back when they arrested him, we covered this story when he was arrested that day. Buma, whose previous claims to Congress and the media alleged that he was involved with helping Special Counsel Robert Mueller's investigation into debunked claims of Trump-Russia collusion, was repeatedly taking aim at Giuliani while defending the Bureau's slow walking of the Hunter Biden investigation, is now, you guessed it, being defended by the same high-profile law firm that defended Joe's dirtbag son, attacked the federal investigation into him, and many more different things. Just the News has learned Scott Horton, then a lawyer for Buma, framed the FBI's investigation as revenge against Buma last year, with the New York Times saying that the lawyer said the FBI wanted revenge against Buma because he had suggested the FBI mishandled everything and the confidential human sources were affected by political bias, blah, blah, blah. So there you have it. Just another piece of the swamp going to work there, Damon. As you can see, all these people, they kind of stick together. They try to cover for each other, and that's the way they all survive. So wait,
someone was arrested or not?
He was arrested back in March.
Okay.
He just hired the same attorneys that defended Hunter Biden.
Probably talked to Joe.
Yeah.
Well, no, he didn't talk to Joe. Joe doesn't even know who Hunter is.
Did you guys see Joe made a statement today?
Made a statement. Another one today?
Oh, was that yesterday?
It was yesterday.
Oh, yesterday. Yeah, he made a speech.
He was so articulate. No, I'm kidding. Why is he even speaking? Just go away. You got away with murder. Move on.
Yeah, you would think.
Yeah, we said this last night. You know, most parties, you bring back the old press. They say, "Oh yeah, let's remind people of." No.
Hide that guy.
No. Nope. No thanks.
I mean, he's put him in his.
Did you see the clip of him with
box.
Did you see the clip of the colored kids in the bus clip?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Isn't that great?
I didn't see that one.
He's living up to old racist
pop.
Joe.
Just right back to it. Yeah.
Right back to it.
Just can't get away from it. You know. I mean, it's his whole life. You know, I remember the NPR tapes back we played, and then racial jungle. He didn't want my kids growing. He can't get away from it. It's just part of who he is. He's got to somehow touch on it. He's got to make it like it's
black.
Like man. Somehow he thinks it's like a cool subject, and like he's so hip.
Right.
To remind people of his racial who he was hanging out with.
Right.
Well, because everywhere in every situation he's like a chameleon and.
Right, he grew up in a black church.
Right, he grew up black.
Right, when he was done with the black church, he went to the Puerto Rican church.
He had a Baptist mother.
Right, and then he would of course hang out at Temple because he was very Jewish.
Of course.
But he loved the 7-Elevens because he got to speak Indian when he went to.
He was Zelig.
He's quite the old racist. Old Joe is.
Yes, he is. And he can't stay away from it. Delgado, I have an update for you here tonight on your Rev 7 taste test.
Is Mike sending some in?
We're going to get some more, but you will not be doing a taste test tonight on the Apple, whatever is left.
I guess your son drank that one, too.
He did. He drank it today. I went to go get it. I said, where is it? He said, I drank that one, too. And he said, it was great. I said, I didn't think you were going to like the Apple, you said. He said, I wasn't sure, but I wanted it. And so all three of them, he said, home run.
All right.
And you get none of them.
And I get none. I'm going to move into your house. So
I couldn't believe it when I finally remembered. I opened the door, gone. 26 past the hour, live from Studio 6B. More to do when we get back.
for the show studio.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to tell him. Damon, that's what happened when you have teenage boys in the house. Farmer Brook, you're exactly right.
Yeah, I just said to Damien, sometimes you're grateful that the dog's still alive. A teenage boy, after practice, my son would eat me out of house and home. Waiting for a chunk of the refrigerator door to be gone.
Yeah. I can't find Rev7 on Mike's page. Go to LFS6B. Go to mypillow.com/LFS6B, and Rev7's right there on the right-hand side. I think it's the third box down. I saw it today because they sent me the new commercial for us with our promo code and our phone number on it that I have. And I went to the page to see if it was there, and there it is. mypillow.com/LFS6B, and it's the little box for the drink. And I think it's the third one down on the far right. Someone said we missed a super chat, too. I don't have it.
Oh, let me check.
Maybe check YouTube,
I will check.
because those don't come up for me.
What are we doing in the segment?
Hello, Ruby Ivy. Hello, Susan Lewis on Facebook. Bobby Stevens on X. Cats B on YouTube. Mr. V on YouTube.
I don't see it.
No, okay. I
I don't see it. I'll scroll. They usually pop up.
Paul,
at
is
the
that the Mike Lindell cross you're wearing, or that's your own cross?
That is my own cross.
Okay, very good. Mike has a nice one, too.
Does he? Boy, that guy's covering all his bases. How's he holding up after the government tried to destroy his life?
I don't know.
Is he
It's always a
surviving
struggle, I
financially?
think, because of the big box stores and everything, but that's why people are getting good deals, passing them on to the audience. But this drink thing is really good.
And he won't be facing tariffs, that's for sure. He's making it here in the USA.
Broke Spoke, what's going on?
Love broke.
On YouTube. Make sure you hit the like, subscribe if you're watching on social media. Hello to all our friends on Rumble. Our Delgado, $100 from Denmark.
Whoa.
And
where?
gifted subs, Cats B says. Thank you very much.
Where's that?
I don't know. It says, Chris Allen said, Damon, Super Chat was from Denmark.
Oh, there's Cats B, right. I don't see usually the super chat pops up in a special like flashing box.
Yeah.
I didn't see that pop up. And I
All right, 30 minutes past the hour, live from Studio 6B on a Wednesday night, all across the country on Real America's Voice and across the airways of 103.9 LI News Radio, Long Island, New York. Welcome on in, everybody. Delgado's going to do more news. Plus, what even is that? Top of the hour. Paul Nolan's going to do some news as well. Aaron and Fran holding it down. Slick will be here. He's a little delayed. Had, I think, a meeting tonight or a dinner that he was speaking at. He'll be here to do some sports in a little bit. Like we said, the Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell was speaking today out in Chicago and said that, well, $36 trillion is not an unsustainable number, but we're on an unsustainable path when it comes to the fiscal debt of operating debt of the country. And I'm not exactly sure what that means, because that sounds pretty unsustainable to me at this point.
What's the interest on that every year?
Given that nobody in Washington wants to even talk about deficits or cutting taxes. But, you know, I've been talking a lot about retirement and how this affects your retirement. And we're having some experts on to talk about this. And we're going to have another one right now. Please welcome Parker Faulkner to the show. He's the founder and president of the Retire Happy Network. It's in Springfield, Missouri. In addition to serving clients in the Springfield area, the Rehappy Tire Network has 15 years of experience working with federal employees across the country as well. Parker, welcome to the show. How are you?
Hey, Darren. Thanks for having me. Good to see you guys.
It's great to see you. Thanks for coming on. What a time. I don't know if you saw Jerome Powell today or how this, you know, you're dealing with clients every day who are getting ready for retirement, kind of in that red zone of retirement, and they're listening to this crazy talk coming out of Washington on tariffs and taxes. And, you know, taxes are reasonably low, even though people don't think they are, because we get overtaxed everywhere, especially in some of these blue states. But when you think about retirement, what's the number one concern today of retirees or who are maybe either at retirement age or in that red zone of retirement?
Well, Darren, the number one concern of retirees is running out of money before they run out of life. And we have tools to take care of that where they never had to worry about running out of income in retirement. While the market was in such turmoil, my phone didn't ring one time because we have all our clients, their income accounts are insured and guaranteed, and their growth accounts have stop loss portfolios. So right now, every one of my clients, we're sitting on the sidelines. And that's what you have to do in retirement. You got to be more cautious.
Yeah, because obviously in retirement, obviously if you're not actively working, in your working years, you've got money coming in, you've got income and that, and obviously in retirement, things like that change. But you just talked about the markets a little bit, and you look at the markets today. Obviously, Jerome Powell talks, and it affects the markets. The markets, as we know, obviously don't like instability, don't like question marks. But for retirees, what's the riskiest time to be in the market?
Yeah, Darren, the riskiest time to be in the stock market for retirees is 5 years before retirement and 5 years after retirement. We call this the retirement red zone. A market loss, a big correction, can devastate your retirement income during this time period. Just think back to 2007, 2008. Someone retired, their 401k was flush. They start taking distributions, and the market falls 38% in 12 months. So if they were taking a 5% distribution, the market takes 38. They lost 43% of their nest egg in 1 year. So we want to avoid that.
Yeah. You think about taxes. When our parents were growing up, it was a 401k, and that's pretty much all we knew. We heard that. We kind of knew what it was, and 401k was kind of the vehicle that you used for retirement back when we were kids and watching our parents think about retirement. How has retirement planning, how is it different today compared to when our parents were thinking about putting money away for their retirement?
Well, the difference today is many people, the last generation retired with pensions. And so their company had their retirement set up. You may work 35 years for a company, they give you a gold watch, and then they start sending you a guaranteed paycheck for the rest of your life every single month. No matter what happens to the market, that paycheck's coming in. And so they had that solid foundation with that pension, and then they had their Social Security. And then what that allowed them to do, that allowed them to purchase stock and take some risk with their savings accounts. Because if they lost that money, their income wasn't affected. Now let's look at today. People don't have that solid foundation because companies got away from pensions. They got away from a defined benefit plan and went to a defined contribution plan. So once a company puts some money in your 401k, they're done with it. It's up to you now. And so what we help retirees do is start their own personal pension with a portion of their retirement assets, such as a 401k, 403b, IRAs, thrift savings plan for federal employees. And of course, they still have their Social Security. And so that's what we help clients do, start that solid foundation.
You had to put one thing on what the most important thing a retiree needs. What would it be?
Income, without a doubt. In retirement, the most important thing is income. When you leave that job, no longer do you have a paycheck coming in. And so guess what? The bills still come in. The phone company, the gas company, the electric company, they don't care that you retired. You're still going to get those bills. So we got to replace that paycheck. And if you replace it with guaranteed insured income, you're going to have a stress-free retirement when it comes to finances.
Do you have I listened to the Federal Reserve Chairman today talk about debt and deficits and unsustainable as opposed to sustainable. Maybe we're not on a sustainable path, but the number itself is still sustainable, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. But when you think about taxes in this country, people say, maybe we have a little bit of a respite still because Trump is in and they're going to try to extend the Trump tax cuts. But other people say taxes have nowhere to go in this country if we're going to tackle this deficit, then up. And it's not a right-left issue. It's just a math problem. There's just no way to raise this kind of revenue and deal with this issue without taxes going up. And again, I know Trump obviously doesn't want to raise taxes, and they're going to look to extend those tax cuts. But do you see any other way? Do you see a way that taxes don't have to go up somehow in the future?
No, I sure don't. You know, if my business expenses run more, I've got to generate more income. That's just all there is to it. And the federal government's going to have to do the same thing. So I expect taxes to go up. But what most people don't realize in retirement, the majority of clients, their taxes go down because their income, a lot of their income is coming from Social Security. And not all that Social Security goes into your taxable equation. Matter of fact, only 50% of Social Security is calculated towards your tax bracket. I helped a client yesterday. The last advisor they went to told them they needed to start doing some Roth conversions while he's still working. So he was listening to this other advisor and paying a lot of taxes. I showed him where he didn't have a tax problem. As a matter of fact, his taxes in retirement, he's gonna be like the 12% bracket. He's gonna pay 1% on all his dollars in taxes. I told him, do not convert any more Roths. You don't need to do that. So retirees just don't have the tax bill usually that they have when they're working.
That's interesting because you're hearing a lot of talk about 401k to Roth conversions because of taxes where people think they're going in the future. That's very interesting. Let me ask you about one more thing, the Secure Act. Speaking of government, how has the Secure Act affected, let's say, tax-qualified plans like 401ks and IRAs and things like that?
Well, what the Secure Act took away, one thing it took away was for clients to be able to do what we call a stretch IRA when it went to the kids. Now, they can still do a spousal continuation. So if one spouse passes, that IRA remains the same. But when that IRA, whether it's traditional or Roth, when it goes to a non-spousal beneficiary, that beneficiary must spend that account down in 10 years. So let's say the kids inherit that during their working years, and now they got to take 10% or more every single year out of that account, pay the taxes. More than likely, it's going to put them in a bigger tax bracket. So guess what? The IRS is going to end up with more of a client's retirement plan. So basically, that's like low-hanging fruit for them, for the IRS to collect those taxes off those retirement accounts. But we have a required minimum distribution offset that we came up with, and we get clients to start taking their distributions sooner instead of waiting till they're 73 or 75. We got to get that money out of those tax-infested accounts and get them switched over. You either got to spend them or transfer them to a Roth at that time for that purpose.
We've been speaking with Parker Faulkner. He's the founder and president of the Retire Happy Network, Springfield, Missouri area. Where can people get a hold of you?
Hey, you can call my office. Again, we're in Springfield. We're at one of the busiest corners, I think, in the country, Glenstone and Sunshine. We're in the tallest building here, Plaza Towers. Our phone number is 417-355-8700. You can email me at parker@retirehappynetwork.com. Go check us out on our website. That's retirehappynetwork.com.
Parker, I appreciate a few moments. A lot of important information. A lot of this audience is in this situation, facing retirement, getting close to retirement. I appreciate the time.
You're very welcome. Thanks for having me. We really appreciate it.
All right, very good. Parker Faulkner from the Retire Happy Network in Springfield, Missouri. If you want to reach out, check them out. They do a lot of good stuff, a lot of interesting stuff there. I hadn't heard a lot of people talking about Roth conversions. Get that money out of those 401ks before taxes go up. He says maybe not, depending on your situation. So
Yeah.
All right.
That's the case.
What'd you say?
I said, hopefully that's the case.
Yeah, 41 past the hour. Let's do a little more news here. Delgado, what else is going on?
All right. Well, I've got a little follow-up to, of course, the news that the federal government's main housing loan agency has referred New York Attorney General Letitia James for prosecution for alleged mortgage fraud, according to the letter.
well.
Is that video, that crazed video I've seen of her today, is that
Yes.
actually today or is that from a long time ago?
I think it could be today because she's talking about waiting 2 years for Hakeem Jeffries to be the next speaker.
Is that from today?
I believe
Oh
that could
my
be from
God.
today. So let's go to the very loud and obnoxious sounding Letitia James. Here she is. Check this out.
My mission is clear. I'm focused. I'm prepared. I'm ready. I've been trained by the best. I went
She
to
a
Howard
Marine?
University that overturned legal segregation in this country.
Oh, there it is.
I've been taught in those classrooms where Thurgood Marshall once taught.
Oh,
I'm
she
not
have a lazy
afraid of
eye?
no president. Donald Trump, we're ready for you. We're coming for you.
She
We're
looks
standing
nervous.
up for you. We're fighting on. We're not going down silent. Victory, my friends, is clear. It's now. And I'm not waiting 4 years. I'm waiting 2 until a speaker by the name of Hakeem Jeffries comes to bring us some rest. Come on, ladies. It's up to us. We saved this democracy before. We'll save it now. Let's go.
Damn, she sounds hungry.
Like hungry, hungry, like she wants to get to Mickey D's.
Yeah, something like that.
I think that people elected her is
Yeah.
I miss Nancy Pelosi.
doomed. New York City's doomed.
Unbelievable. Clown show.
Video. And I forget what the subject is. I'm looking for it on this website.
That was a long segment with the retirement. Felt like 40.
Chat in the chat. Let's check it out. Where is it? There it is.
You got Rumble?
I got the Rumble chat.
All right, I got
Drake 99.
YouTube. I got Les Bull Durham. I'm doing well, brother. Thank you for asking. Rowena, you like that? I miss Nancy Pelosi after listening to that wacko. Did I hear my girl Becky got bit by a dog today? Becky, let us know what went on over there. Ticked off in the house. Saw Chris Allen before. He thinks the RFK story is up there. I think I'm with him. Lamb 100. How you doing, Lorraine Donato? Mr. Whatever this is said, was that Lizzo? That's well done.
It's Lizzo James.
I just don't get like all of that like step and fetch it type of talk. Like it's just so unbecoming. It's so unattractive. It's so unprofessional.
Hey, Farmer Brooks says, Paulie, you should get on X. What are you, afraid? What are you, scared?
What do you mean? I'm on X.
I guess you're not on the X chat right now. That's
Oh, right.
He thinks you're a scared.
You know what? I should try to get on that. How the heck do you do that? Send me a link.
Just go on X.
I don't know how to.
I don't know how to do that. I'm on it, but I don't know how to do it. showing your age. Paul. Stop that.
No, let me go full Boma. Here I am. I'm over here now. You got to go to LF6B.
Chris Allen, there's something about these far aparted eye people. They're everywhere.
All right, 13 to the hour, live from Studio 6B on a Wednesday night. Real America's Voice and across the airways of 103.9 LI News Radio. Glad you're in, everybody. Slick's going to do some sports as soon as he gets here. Rick Delgado's going to do some more news. Plus, what even is that? Top of the hour. What even is that?
Yes.
What even is that? That's the segment that Delgado does. Some of you who have joined in the last 3 months haven't heard one yet, so you'll hear one tonight for the first time.
Three months.
Aaron and Fred holding it down. Oh, what did I say?
3 months.
Oh, I
it was
meant
only
3
about
weeks.
a month, maybe 5 weeks tops.
All right, 5 weeks.
Hey,
Okay.
there's been things going on.
Really?
Yeah,
He's got hobbies.
He's got things to do.
I got things going on.
All right, very good. Paul Nolan's here. He's got some news. What's going on, Paulie?
Well, Bloomberg is reporting nearly 20,000 IRS employees are going to take Trump's administration's the second deferred buyout offer. The source familiar with the number of buyouts totals almost 1/5 of the agency and about 4/5 away from having a completely a perfect place there, because there's really no need for them anymore. Let's get that external revenue service going. The thieves over there at the IRS have to go. So I'm pretty happy about this. 4,700 people took the first deferred resignation. 7,000 probationary employees took their administrative leave, and now 20,000 more, which is a stark contrast to Biden trying to hire one for every American. Everyone gets their own personal IRS agent following them around. So that's good news there. I thought this was good news too. But this is interesting. RFK pushes to find environmental cause of autism, calling the growing rates an epidemic. Health and Human Services, Robert F. Kennedy, Wednesday declared that autism is a rapidly growing epidemic, and he cited the fact that now that 1 in 36 children, 1 in 31 in 2022, 1 in 36 in 2020 has increased. He cited that way back when that you didn't see some of these cases, and he has argued that there are simply not ways to better diagnose, better recognition, or changing diagnostic criteria. He said the epidemic is real, and he went on to say that within the next 2 or 3 weeks, the agency will announce a new series of studies to identify precisely what the environmental toxins that are causing autism. And I think most people who are reasonable believe there's something going on here. It's at a completely unsustainable level at this point. So I find this fascinating. But what I really found fascinating on this was when you look through when you search this on Google, everything you see, every headline is RFK calls autism preventable, drawing ire from researchers. That's from the Times. The Autism Science Foundation, their headline is RFK disputes results of CDC autism prevalence, citing study of common sense, but no actual science. It's just one negative hit after another, and you can search this for yourself. I find it completely reprehensible that these people are not interested in, trying to get to the truth here. It's all about their funding, and it's all about keeping their control of the medicine side of the business, and it's reprehensible in my opinion. So
what are we actually going to get in a few weeks? Because that seems like a very quick time frame.
Yeah, well, I'm looking forward to seeing it, but there's a lot of evidence that the fluoride in the water has a lot to do. There's a lot of evidence that the addictive agents that are put into the processed foods could be linked. So I'm going to,
I didn't hear what he said. So did he say we're going to get in 3 weeks, we're going to get results of ongoing tests that they're doing now, or they're starting something now and going to have results in 3 weeks?
No, they've been at it since he got in, and they think they'll have some results within 2 or 3 weeks. So I thought those were two good stories, at least on the feel-good side of things. We're getting somewhere. We're getting what we wanted with Maha, and we're getting what we wanted with, eliminating some of the leeches on society, the IRS, who, sucking off the host, all the parasites sapping every dollar out of us. So I also thought this was pretty important. U.S. imposes sanction on a Chinese refinery accused of buying Iranian oil. The Treasury Department imposed sanctions Wednesday on a Chinese refinery accused of purchasing more than $1 billion of Iranian oil, saying that the proceeds help both Tehran's government and Iran's support for militant groups. The sanctioned refinery in China's Shandong province received dozens of shipments of crude oil from Iran worth more than $1 billion, and the administration said that they are going to try to prevent any of that going forward. So once again, the trade war continues, and we're seeing a lot more tit for tat, including some of the spy agencies and some of the hackers. So we can get into that maybe a little bit later. But I found that story pretty interesting as well.
Okay, very good. Paul will have some more news. So there is some breaking news tonight. I think it's definitely breaking news. And that is that President Trump reportedly tonight has waved off plans by Israel to strike Iranian nuclear sites as soon as next month in favor of negotiating a deal with Tehran to limit its nuclear program. Again, being reported tonight, the President Trump reportedly waved off plans by Israel to strike Iranian nuclear sites as soon as next month in favor of negotiating a deal with Tehran to limit its nuclear program.
Who's reporting that?
Many places. I'm getting it from Alex, ALX, who's a great follow on X. If you're not following Alex, but supposedly it's also breaking tonight in the New York Times as well. And if you know the president, if you're listening to him and you listen to him talk about what's going on between Ukraine and Russia, his peace, truth, strength seems like the way he said he had his proverbial foot on the neck of Iran in the end of his first term, and he said if the election, we've heard him many times say if the election wasn't rigged, we would have had a deal right away, because they were begging for a deal, because they were basically he was choking the life out of them,
right,
in every way he could. And if this report tonight is accurate, and I have no reason to think it's not, because quite frankly, it fits into what we've heard from the president.
Yeah, and it could be that, he's choking the life out of them in other ways, like the strikes on the Houthis, the way Hamas has been destroyed. Basically, instead of monetary problems, now they're having all sorts of tactical and military problems, because the tentacles of their terrorism are being smashed to pieces, and maybe they see this as inevitable. It's going to end up on their doorstep, and they're like, we have to think about ourselves surviving this.
Yeah,
maybe that's the pressure that's actually working that much quicker this time around.
Yeah, there's obviously, again, saber rattling, the art of the deal. Create as much havoc as possible, create as much fear with your opponent, and then show a softer side and maybe negotiate something a little bit more reasonable, because something has to give. If they start bombing away at Iran, we know darn well then, the neocons are in control, because that's really all. There's no other way to surmise that.
Yeah, and the problem with Iran, too, and I heard this, I forget who I heard this from, I wish I could give this person credit, but the new deal between Iran and Russia does not call for military help. Like they struck a new deal, I guess, a few months ago, but it was without, Russia guaranteeing they would step in if they were attacked. So that could be another leverage point where, somebody threw somebody a bone here, be like, we're not going to agree to this to help Iran. You guys, you guys can do your own deal with them, because, let's face it, I think everybody in that region knows Iran is a problem. You know what I mean? So it could be that, who knows? Maybe there was some Russian element in here where it said we're not going to guarantee their safety if something happens, and let them figure this out. And now they see the writing on the wall, so to speak. Who knows? Again, this is all we're just spitballing. We're spitballing.
We should have talked about it beforehand, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
All right, hour one's a wrap. Hour two coming up. Live from Studio 6B. We're back right after this.
He was so good as his son. The scene in Family Therapy is still just cracks me up.
What?
Yeah, what? It's quite breathtaking.
A shorn scrotum.
Quite
breathtaking.
By 5, I wrote my first scribe. I was ritualistically beaten in a
Oh, it's what
burlap
even is
sack.
that time?
Yeah.
I forgot.
We did the regular thing. We made meat helmets.
My father was the kind of genius that only the fools lament. He claims to have invented the question mark. He often accused chestnuts of being lazy. So crazy. It's so funny.
You never saw Austin Powers? No.
There's no reasoning here.
Oh.
Did you see the crazy guy on CNN, who's not long for ESPN, CNN, Harry Enton, that all the talk is that Trump voters are upset. He has a great new video. I sent it to Damon. I don't know if you could throw it up there during the.
Play it?
No, it came out today, I believe. Yeah, it came out today. I sent it to you on your phone. I don't know if you can move from there, but it's funny. To me, the host's face when he reports the bad news to their viewers, it's like.
And he's so excited about it, right?
Yeah,
it's odd.
Was he in full Broadway voice when he did it?
Yep.
Did he do a spin? Did he touch the ground?
He did a split. Lee Zeldin keeps kicking butt, if you didn't notice.
So, Paul, we played a clip yesterday. 3-second clip of Trump. where he turns into Big Earn from Kingpin.
Big Earn McCracken.
Yeah. He goes to Caitlin. He goes, do we have any questions? Caitlin Collins. He goes, no, not you.
Big Earn McCracken. I'm going to make all kinds of money and I get in trouble and buy my way out of it.
I love his.
Hour 2 live from Studio 6B on a Wednesday night. Real America's Voice and across the airways of 103.9 LI News Radio. Slick still not here to do sports, but he will be here in Hour 2. Don't you worry. Rick Delgado's here. He's going to do some news. Rick Delgado Jr. is going to do what even is. Oh, no, actually, he's not. He's not going to do anything. Looks good, though.
Mini-me.
Paul Nolan's going to do some news in Hour 2 as well. Aaron and Fran holding it down as always. We're going to try to get to Rachel Morin's mom in the press brief room today if we can find 7 minutes to play that video. We got some other news to get to as well. But 9 o'clock right now, it is time for one of my new favorite segments here on the show. And that, of course, is Rick Delgado with What Even Is That?
All right, Damon, well, thank you. And I know it's been a little while.
You're welcome.
And so I apologize, but let's get at it, shall we?
Sure, we shall.
In a news landscape where the second term of President Trump has pretty much dominated the headlines since he won in November 2024, I think I may have finally found a story that could eclipse all that, even for just one spin of the news cycle. Now, is it the war with Ukraine and Russia? Yet. Is it the escalation of our relations with China? Beijing. That's Chinese for no. The news I'm talking about comes from right here in the great old USA.
Okay.
But instead of it being a story, Damon, of overcoming overwhelming odds and a story of an underdog climbing the steps to victory,
Sure.
this week we're treated to the real-life version of this.
Space, the final frontier. These are the voyages of the starship Enterprise.
More like booby size. Yes, you heard that right. Blue Origin launched an all-female celebrity crew with Katy Perry, Gayle King, and Lauren Sanchez. Yes, that's right. Yes, Katy Perry, the world-famous singer. Gayle King, the world-famous best friend of Oprah. And Lauren Sanchez, who is, well, world famous for sleeping with the owner of Blue Horizon. Hey, Jeff, just a little thing here. There are easier ways to get out of a relationship, my friend. Though this one could end up being much cheaper than the last one. Anyhow, in a scene more reminiscent of an Austin Powers movie than that of an American space mission, the Blue Origin Angels, I call them, look more like they're ready to take on wasting space as opposed to flying in it. Yes, here they are, making their way to the launch pad like drunk chicks on spring break, hanging out in the limo, making bad choices before they inevitably pass out and wake up 6 hours later covered in their own vomit. Good times, girls. Now, safely on the launch pad, the newest space cowgirls are looking up at the Blue Origin's rocket, which they'll be riding for the first time, definitely mesmerized by its size and its shape.
Sure.
And I think from the looks on their faces, we can all surmise they're probably thinking the same exact thing we all are.
Sure.
What is it, son?
I don't know, sir. But it looks like a giant.
Yeah.
Take a look out of starboard.
Oh my God, it looks like a huge.
Yeah. Yes, it does. The Blue Origin's rocket surely does have an interesting design, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And the ladies, of course, love it. So much so that the ladies are going to ride that thing for a whole 10 minutes. Wow. I know. Actually sounds like a pretty good Saturday night, right, Paul?
Yeah, it's some buzz. I'm not involved.
Here they are, as a matter of fact, getting ready to climb into the Blue Origin's capsule, and they ring the bell, notifying
like
the
SNL.
butler that the rich people are here, and we'd like to get on board, but we don't touch the door ourselves.
Where's the help?
Yes, exactly. Once on board, the countdown starts, and, well, within minutes, you guessed it, it will be launch time for the ladies as they make their way. Look at this. Oh, my goodness. And, yes, there it goes. A rocket filled with celebrity ladies who offer nothing on this planet, but want to reach out and share even less with the rest of the universe.
Yeah.
Way to represent.
There you go.
According to the AP, the rocket blasted off on a quick up and down trip from the west coast of Texas. The fringe of space was only 66 miles up and provided a precious few minutes of weightlessness. That meant, of course, that the Blue Origin ladies could afford to skip out on their Ozempic shots for that day.
Yeah, exactly.
And during the flight, check this out, Lauren Sanchez looked like she was on the verge of xenomorphing into something, well, we might need Sigourney Weaver's help with. Look at that. Yeesh. But that was of course, put to rest when you heard and saw the rest of the video of the rich and famous in their billion-dollar bounce house in the sky. Check this out.
Got it? 1, 2, 3. Taking up space!
Yes, taking up space. Not as quite as memorable as Neil Armstrong's take on things. But yes, you are just taking up space. Of course, as the saying goes, what goes up must come down, and down they did go. As the women were buckling up for the ride back, Katy Perry, guess what? She broke into song.
Oh.
Because I guess that's what you do when you're a singer. You just kind of break into song.
Sure.
I don't know. I don't know. I can't understand. The landing went according to plan, according to the article. Within minutes, Bezos opened the capsule with the hatch minutes after touchdown, and of course, embracing Sanchez, the first one out. As they emerged, Katy Perry and Gayle King then kneeled and kissed the ground. You can't make it up.
Got back from Mars.
Yes, exactly. Yes, rocket tech has not changed much in 60 years, has it? They celebrated sending regular people to space like it's some huge achievement. Excuse me, but we used to fly 747s into space and then land them, right? Look at this. Remember this?
Yeah.
This used to be a regular occurrence.
Sure.
And then, of course, when there was a big asteroid heading up, what'd we do? We sent them back with Bruce Willis and 2 more of them, and he saved the entire world.
Yeah.
So there you have it.
There you go.
But not to be a total downer, because I don't want to do that. On the Blue Origin's flight, after the landing, each later received the take-home version of their Blue Origin's rocket, which they had just flown in, which coincidentally comes in 3 speeds and takes 4D batteries. So have fun reliving that adventure, ladies. As they say, Earth girls may be easy, but because of you, now they're even easier. Damon, back to you.
Oh, God. All right, how you going to close that one
I was
out,
trying
buddy?
to see if we were going to get through the whole thing here.
What?
Oh, there it is.
What'd I do?
No,
No. You see what you did right there.
I don't know. That wasn't me. I
Damon
didn't-
Go where no man has gone before.
So there you have it.
That's actually a great picture.
It is a great picture. Fran, great job.
Oh, man. That is a great job, Fran.
So there
good
you
job,
have it.
Delgado. I like
Thank
that
you.
one.
Thank
That
you.
was great.
It's funny that I had no idea that was a subject matter, but I actually tweeted about this because I just laughed when I saw the video. I mean, these girls went, for all intents and purposes, on a glorified roller coaster ride.
Yeah.
I mean, they barely, they touched like the edge of space. They didn't,
Right.
They didn't go to Mars.
The best.
It's like they came back. Katy Perry's kissing the ground like
Oh, God.
like you were just there 11 minutes ago.
Right.
Yeah, well, we missed you, Magellan. The best line of that had to be, they had no use here on Earth. So
That was good.
send them out to space.
I didn't even realize they got to a point where they could, a little weightlessness.
Oh, yeah. They get right to the edge, and then they
man.
float.
Joy Behar better get on one of these.
Which lasts about
Yeah,
2 or
stay
3
on
minutes.
We ain't going to get into orbit with her on there.
Yeah,
I
it
feel what that
lasts
feels
about
like.
2 or 3 minutes because you got to account. There's a few minutes, I think 4 minutes to get up, 3 or 4 minutes they get to hang out, and then 4 minutes to come back down.
Wow.
And that's it.
And then they act like she's like, oh, we're home.
We changed the world.
Kiss the ground.
Meanwhile, you had astronauts stuck in space since last summer that Elon had to rescue.
I got to be honest with you. If someone proved that was all a big, staged hoaxed event, I'd be like, yeah, okay, I believe that. If that never happened,
Right.
I would easily believe it.
Fake news.
Just they did it in a set somewhere in Hollywood.
Yep.
Because they don't want to get their hair messed up.
Right.
Or,
They all look good in their blue suits, whatever it was. I don't know.
Yeah. So there you have it.
Well, there you go.
The
That was
ladies
something
on a galaxy quest.
Although, let me just say this. If I had the chance to even do that 11-minute ride, I think I would take it.
100%.
Right?
Oh yeah, all day.
I mean, you got to do that if you can.
When the show gets a little
I just
bigger,
wouldn't
we'll
act
get the
like I
invite.
changed the world or anything.
Right.
Come back down and kiss the ground and throw my hands up I'd be like, oh, that's pretty. Like you get off a roller coaster. Hey, that was pretty cool.
And think about it. They've taken airline flights around the world that they've been up in the air a whole lot longer. I don't think they come out of there kissing the ground to JFK. So
It's crazy.
Some of the runway flights, some of the landings into LaGuardia, you might want
Well,
to consider the
LaGuardia's
shortest runway in the world.
Yeah. Well, if you can put it on the ground at LaGuardia and actually make it to the gate, you can kiss the ground. That's worth it. Oh man. So
there you have it.
Well done.
Thank
all right, very well done, Slickster.
Yeah.
How are you?
I'm glad I made it. I was racing here to come see what even is that? It hasn't been on in months.
Thank you.
I'm going to punch you in the face.
Months.
He said 3 months, he said.
Plural. Yeah.
Paul, somebody from the IRS was outside looking for you, too, by the way.
no
as I was
joke.
Why? What did he say?
He said, I'm looking for Mr. Nolan. I got a piece of paper for him.
No, what did Nolan say? Why you
He was talking about the IRS.
Oh,
I heard him on my way in.
I think I called them parasites.
He called, something
I should be
unflattering.
expecting a nasty letter any minute now.
Yeah, no, the guy's outside waiting, Paul.
Yeah,
He's got a letter for
exactly.
you.
So, Slick, how was your meeting or dinner or whatever?
Yeah,
you
it
were
was a
doing?
good event. I had to stay. 2 of my friends were up for Chamber Members of the Year for Brookhaven Town, and I wanted to stay, and one of them did win, so I was glad. I couldn't just get out then, so I apologize.
Did you speak?
I did not, but they actually mentioned me, which was nice, and that was good. I 15 feet into the door, I couldn't move. I was just, people, so many folks that I know. I've been doing this a long time.
How do they recognize you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. How do you stand
What's the tell? What's the tell?
Must have been the boots.
Did anybody say they know you from the show tonight?
Yes, actually, one fella did. Yep, Troy did. He said he knew me from the show. He loves the show. Watches very frequently.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, very good.
And loves the sport. And I met somebody else whose son is going to Hofstra studying broadcasting. I says, funny, you should mention that. And for sports broadcasting. And I mentioned you, of course, our producer and founder of the show, Hofstra graduate, and then myself doing sports. I said, how funny is that? Small world.
I did radio at Hofstra when I was there, too.
Yeah.
WRHU.
The Flying
time.
Dutchman.
Yeah, where you
called.
spit in the tunes.
The Flying Dutchman.
Is that
Yeah.
where you fell in love with Delbert? Delbert?
No.
Delbert?
Delbert, yes. Not
Is it
Dilbert.
Is
That's
it
the
Delbert?
cartoon. Delbert.
It's
D-E-L.
Delbert. D-E-L.
Yes.
Do you know I went out for Record Store Day because there was a Prince album released? It was on Saturday, April 12th, and they had a big display. You're not going to believe it, of Bon Iver. They had a whole thing of him, a whole big row. I was going to take a picture and send it to you guys, but
What is this Bon Iver
in
you
the key
guys
of non,
keep?
in the key of non-binary.
You've
is it
never seen
Ivor or
Bon
Ivor?
Iver?
It's Ivor, right? Bon Iver?
I think it's Ivor.
Ivor, yeah. Whole big display. I'm like, I didn't even realize this guy was a thing.
It is Ivor, Aaron, right? Not Ira?
Yeah, Ivor.
Bon Iver. Yes.
He's a big.
All right, hour 2, live from Studio 6B. More to do. We'll do some sports. Not Slicks here. We'll do some more news with Paul and with Rick Delgado right after this.
Read that and I'll go get the big stuff.
Yeah, you're not happy with that, D?
I got a if only Joe Ed Jr. If only Joe Ed Jr. at
We have the Bon Iver clip because
I
Paul
knew
hasn't
him.
seen it, obviously.
in the Rumble chat. He said the Blue Origin space bunnies are celebronauts that supposedly rode the tip of a manly shaped rocket into space. He's not wrong.
Do I have to do it from here? You two in there when I ask stupid questions are too funny. Well, what? I mean, not duh.
You mean
So
when
you
you
want to
ask
read the
questions?
super chat before I got to run out for a second?
Shut up.
You also have a read, by the way.
You do it.
All right.
All right, this is from Alice Nielsen. Tonight it is my day with you. I have been at LFS6B for 9 years. Thank you. Stay strong with the people, Air, Mr. Trump, Mr. Musk. The sun is still shining. Love from Denmark. Alice Nielsen with 100 smackarooskies.
Wow, thank you so
Holy
much.
guacamole. God bless you. Thank you. And I'm going to be right back, chat.
And there it is, Aaron. There it is. All right, Paul, check this out before you
check
leave.
it out. Put your ears back in.
Put your ears back in, Paul.
Okay, what we got here? I can't mess this up.
Paul, this is Bon Iver opening up at Kamala's fundraiser or one of her rallies. You ready?
Yes, we'll rally round
Just-
Wow.
the falsetto to the chest voice is not.
And he sounds nervous.
What key is that? Non-binary?
Oh, my God. That was...
Oh God, still funny today.
Oh, my goodness.
Still funny today.
Oh, make another trip. Is that Italian? Fragile? Dude, easy with the dropping of the boxes.
I got to use the restroom.
Holy moly.
Here. Oh. Oh, you have to.
Yeah, that's subtle.
We have presents here. Oh, he went to the bathroom. That's perfect.
Find the one that...
Don't. Anyone in the chat tells him that there's stuff here from that guy is going to get blocked. it's a new day in America. In a new administration in Washington, D.C., there's a lot of excitement and optimism about the future, but the reality is there's a lot of work to do, especially when it comes to fixing our broken healthcare system. The truth is that the forces that are responsible for breaking our healthcare system aren't going to simply go away. The challenges our system faces won't disappear overnight, now more than ever. You need to be prepared, and that's where the Wellness Company comes in. You know the Wellness Company. Their doctors are medical professionals that you can trust in their line of prescription medical kits are the gold standard when it comes to keeping you safe and healthy. So whether it's the medical emergency kit, the contagion kit, the first aid kit, or the travel kit, these prescription kits contain an assortment of life-saving medications and guidebooks to assist in the proper use of all medications. So from flu to strep throat, from COVID to bird flu, from a trip to the beach to a trip overseas, the Wellness Company has a prescription kit designed to keep you and your family safe. Make America healthy again starts at home. Do your part. Protect the health of you and your family. Go to twc.health/voice, twc.health/voice. Today in order. That's twc.health/voice. Use promo code VOICE to save an additional 10%. Promo code VOICE saves you an additional 10% over at the Wellness Company, twc.health/voice. All right, 18 past the hour, live from Studio 6B, Hour 2, Real America's Voice, and across the airways of 103.9 LI News Radio. Slick's going to do some sports. Rick Delgado's going to do some more news. Paul Nolan's going to do some news as well. Paul's in the bathroom right now. All the packages from that guy just got here. Don't say anything when he gets back. I don't want anyone to say anything.
Yep.
Slick, most of all you.
I know. I almost slipped up. No Nolan knowledge.
You want to do sports?
Yeah, let's go. I'm ready to go.
All right, let's do sports. Sports is brought to you by Mike Lindell. LFS6B is the promo code. Slickster, what's going on?
All right, well, we got NBA play in Big D tonight, right? East, 9th place versus 10th, and the Heat lead the Bulls 82-65 in Chicago, 2:46 to go in the third quarter. And then the nightcap game is in Sacramento. Mavs taking on the Kings. That's at 10 p.m. tip-off. So we're going to check those out, too. I'll keep you up to date on the scores with that as well. And just to get some other top event scores we got going on. A little Major League Baseball, and we'll get the hockey first. Hurricanes trailing the Canadians 3-1. Canadians win tonight. They're in the playoffs, so they're looking to finish that out. 12:47 to go in the third. Ducks and Jets tied at 1 up in Winnipeg. 6 to go there in the third. End of 2. Red Wings blanking the Devils 2-0. Stars trail the Predators 4-1. 12 to go there in the second. Golden Knights at Vancouver Canucks. 10 p.m. puck drop there. Oilers taking on the Sharks. 10:30 puck drop. And Major League Baseball right now. Guardians getting bombed by the Orioles. 9-1. Baltimore leading that one. Top of the ninth. All over but the crying. Diamondbacks 6-2 over the Marlins, bottom 9. Top of the ninth, Cincinnati trailing the Mariners 5-3 in Cincy. Giants 11-4 over the Phillies, top of the 8th. Middle of the ninth, Red Sox lead the Rays 1-0. Yankees over the Orioles 4-3, middle of the 8th. And the A's and White Sox tied at 1, top 6. End of 4, Rangers blanking the Angels 3-0. Blue Jays 3-1 over the Braves, finals from earlier today. Brewers 5-1 over the Tigers. The Twins over the Mets in 10 innings 4-3. Cardinals 4-1 over the Astros. Padres 4-2 over the Cubs. Pirates down the Nationals 6-1 in Pittsburgh. Rockies and Dodgers are the nightcap. First pitch coming up to you at 10:10 out on the East Coast. Get to a couple of stories here. I got a couple of good ones here. Breitbart Sports, let's go. How about this one, Big D? You're going to love it. We talked about her last night. Transgender Miss Maine contestant will face off against Bill Belichick's girlfriend, Jordan Hudson. How you like that one? Alan Mastrangelo of Breitbart News. A transgender Miss Maine, where else, right? USA contestant will face off against Jordan Hudson, the 24-year-old girlfriend of head coach at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill and former New England Patriots head coach Bill Belichick. Isabel St. Cyr, a 24-year-old male who identifies as a female, is set to compete in the Miss Maine USA pageant next month in Portland, Maine, making the contestant the first transgender individual to go for the title, according to a report by Bangor Daily News. St. Cyr told the newspaper he is a little nervous to compete in the beauty pageant due to the current political climate, but claimed he did not enter the competition to make a political statement and signed up a year ago. Oh, he's proactive there. Yeah. I'm just just doing it because I love pageants and I happen to be trans, said St. Cyr. I want to show everyone that trans women absolutely can do this pageant and do well. The trans contestant also claimed there is a lack of education surrounding the pageant and how welcoming they truly are now, especially up there. They've opened up and changed the organization for the better, which is why I feel so proud to be with this organization rather than some others that maybe aren't so open and welcoming to all women, St. Cyr said. Notably, Bill Belichick, and this is why Sports is reporting on this, girlfriend Jordan Hudson will be competing for the 2025 Miss Maine USA title, right? She's 24 years old. Amazing. Happy International Pageant Day, Hudson wrote in an Instagram post last week, adding, I couldn't think of a better day to share with the world that I will be competing for Miss Maine USA 2025, representing my hometown, Hancock. Miss USA, Maine USA, which operates under the Miss Universe organization, reportedly changed its rules in 2012 to allow men to compete. Were you guys aware of that? That they allowed men to compete in the Miss USA pageant?
No, I had no idea.
I thought you were putting us on at first.
No, this is not bright. This is not the what is it? The Babylon Bee. This is serious stuff here, guys. This is the Banger Daily News. St. Cyr told Banger Daily News that he believes this means every contestant's birth certificate must list them as female, and transgender contestants will have to work with a doctor to get their documents changed, guys. While the trans contestant is the first man to compete for Miss Maine USA, he is not the only male to participate in a national pageant. As Breitbart News reported, Cataluna Enriquez, a biological male who identifies as a woman, won the title of Miss Nevada USA in 2021. Well, I didn't know that. I did not know that.
You know why you didn't know that?
No,
because it's a horrible story, and you're not paying attention to stupidity.
You're probably right. But so it's interesting because Bill Belichick was saying about University of North Carolina was worried about a little damage control. Well, here you go, and this should be very interesting how this plays out. So we'll keep you up to date on how Jordan Hudson does as well. And that's a wrap in sports, Big D. I'm going to land it right there on that story.
All right, Slick, very good. 23.
Could you imagine? I'm so sorry. Could you imagine anybody Anybody from 1975 hearing a story that a man just won or is involved
Dude, you
in
don't even have to go back that far. You can go to 2005.
Fair enough.
Right?
You can go to probably 2015 and think, no way, never.
Right.
And let the record stand. We love the great state of Maine, so don't send me any hate mail now because I love Maine. But, come on, we got some crazy stuff going out
Beautiful
between that and what's going on with the transgenders, how they're pushing back against Trump Title IX. I've got a little issue over there, so hopefully they'll take care of business there. I'm sure they'll get it right.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable. That's a wrap, Big D.
All right, Slick, very good. 24 past the hour, live from Studio 6B. We'll do some more sports before we wrap it up. Philip Patrick's going to join us here at the bottom of the hour. So, Delgado, let's sneak in a little bit of news here in the time we have left before we welcome him back to the show. What's going on?
All right. Well, I don't know if you saw this. This could be a case of treason. I don't know. You think about it and let me know. Democrat rep admits that state AGs are meeting weekly to target Trump with new lawfare. This is according to California Representative Laura Friedman, of course, from California, just revealed that House Democrats meet every week with left-wing state attorney generals to discuss how they can take down Donald Trump. It sounds like it could be, maybe this is could be considered treason. Here she is saying it loud and clear for yourself. Here, check out cut number 7. Here's California Representative Laura Friedman, cut 7.
Every single week, we have a litigation working group where a large group of us, and I'm talking there's maybe 75 members of the House, sit down every single week with the AGs to talk about legal strategy. This is all going on every single week behind the scenes. It is nonstop talk, nonstop introduction of bills and legislation, nonstop being on social media as much as we can without being throttled and without the crazy analytics and doing all these things.
Yeah. When your enemy tells you what their plans are, believe them.
Believe them. Because that's exactly what they're doing. So she called it a litigation working group, nothing more than a clever name for subversion, right? Trying to subvert the federal government.
And I have a similar story in the next segment if we have time about Hochul threatening Donald Trump with her New York judges.
All right. There you go, Dean.
All right, Philip Patrick from Birch Gold coming up live from Studio 6B right after this.
insane.
I think the tape was just for the packing.
Yeah. Oh, for the microphone. Yeah, I got you. It's crazy. What a unique gift. Oh, man. Nail on the head. That guy, forget about it.
So look, you got some from that guy. Sent you something.
Look at this gift. I'm getting the microphone. Hold on. I gotta, I'm get my mic set up here. That is crazy. This is gonna stay on my set.
I got something here for Delgado too.
My rest of my life.
Oh yeah.
Aaron, Fran.
From that
I think
guy.
there's something for Big D too. Yeah, that's what I see so far.
Wow.
Look at that from that guy.
That's pretty cool.
My name is Prince. That is crazy.
By the
Look
way,
at that. I got the same hairdo and mustache too. Look at Whoa!
By the way, that guy's got beautiful penmanship.
Man,
Does he?
wow. That guy, you're out of control. I love it, man. That is crazy. Look at that.
Wait, what do you mean freedom sticks?
That's awesome.
No. I don't see that, Paul.
Hold on a second.
Whoa.
Hey, Paulie.
What's it say? You got a letter.
Yeah, this is from that guy. And
He
his
wrote you a
penmanship
letter.
is fantastic. I won't even walk up to the cameras.
That was all I saw.
Hey, how you doing? Forget about it. My brother, I'm so glad you're back on the show. I was sad when you took some time off, but I understand.
Very nice.
I must say, Paulie, you remind me of the Duke John Wayne. You're a real man's
that's
man.
a nice, wow, that's
You
a nice
represent the
compliment.
hard-working blue-collar folk. Thank you. Your heartfelt commentary is exactly what we need.
Very
and
good.
Then
There you go.
He says, pay no
nice
attention till Delgado. I know what you mean when you say you're at max fat, LOL. Whoa. So keep on keeping on, brother. Thank you for all you do over there at the LFS 6B
is
family.
crazy.
Gary Messier, that guy.
Nice.
And he goes, oh, wait, P.S. I hope you like the Freedom Sticks as much as I do, since Customs kept the last box of cigars and they didn't share. Wait,
what?
You get an entire box for yourself.
Hold on.
What part of what?
Wait a minute.
No.
Hold on. You guys said that those.
No. The
David
letter,
said no.
the letter is what he said.
Yeah, the letter is for you.
Yeah, that's just a smoke screen.
letter.
That's just a smoke screen.
Nothing
Hey, that guy just gave us, Big D, in the chat, super chat, $100 in addition
What?
to the gifts. Yeah.
What?
Enjoy the gifts, everyone. It is my thank you to you for you providing 2 hours of bliss
Wait a second.
every night.
I hope
Bliss.
Freedom Sticks as much. You guys are going to be.
Just don't read that. Don't.
You guys will
don't look
be
at that
hearing
part.
from my
Hey, Paul, we're
lawyer.
providing bliss here. Come on.
My lawyer Sid Fine Print Lyman.
Wow, that's a
Here they are, Paulie.
freedom.
I'm burning one of those bad boys right here on the set. I don't care what happens to your
That's the
equipment.
law.
There you go.
Smoke on
By rock.
All right, 30 minutes past the hour, live from Studio 6B, Real America's Voice, and across the airways of 103.9 LI News Radio, Long Island, New York. Glad you're in, everybody, on a Wednesday night. Slick Rick is going to do some more sports. Rick Delgado's got the news. Did a great What Even Is That
Yes,
tonight.
that was great.
Which, if you missed, you can see on the replay, and it'll be on, obviously, live from Studio6B.com. Paul Nolan's doing some news with his new Freedom cigars.
He found his freedom.
Yes. Which I so desperately wanted to try to snag, but Paul's here tonight, so I can't do it. So,
Well,
What'd you get? Did you get a gift?
well, we got boxes to open, but I have more important things to get to
Yes,
right now.
I
As
guessed.
our friend Philip Patrick is going to join us. Of course, he's a precious metal specialist over at the Birch Gold Group, and man, gold has been on a run, and it was going to continue. And if you listen to the Fed chairman today, man, I can't see how it's going to stop as he talks about $36 trillion in debt is not an unsustainable number, but we're on an unsustainable path. Whatever the hell that means, I have no idea. Maybe Philip does. Welcome him back to the show. Philip Patrick, how are you?
Doing well. Thank you for having me, guys.
36 trillion is not an unsustainable number, but he says we're on an unsustainable path. So I don't know where we cross the line as we continue on this death spiral of debt in this country. No one seems to be willing to talk about deficits and debts or tackle it. But when you look at President Trump tariffs policies, they've certainly also been making headlines lately. What would you say are the latest developments we need to keep our eyes on right now?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting to say the least. This hasn't been a boring year for financial markets. Look, Liberation Day, we announced sweeping tariffs. There was a baseline 10% on all imports and additional country-specific tariffs. Obviously, it's China that faced the brunt, 145% tariffs on Chinese goods. over the weekend, the administration issued exemptions for certain tech products, including smartphones and computers. I think they were watching the price of Apple stock plummeting and responded. So days later, President Trump has said that these products will not be exempt from tariffs, but rather move to a different tariff category with new rates to be announced soon. So I would say it adds to a growing set of confusing signals, both for companies and trading partners struggling to find clarity in the strategy, and that makes it difficult to plan, and financial markets don't like that. So it's playing out.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Financial markets don't like the uncertainty. Some acted as if the plan here was to get the 10-year below 4, which actually they got for a little bit, as Scott Besson, I'm sure, was keeping an eye on that as it went to about 3.8, and everybody thought, ooh, maybe this is the plan. Well, so much for that. As the 10-year hit today, I think it was at 4.4. Maybe it came back a little bit. So the 10-year is certainly not giving them what they want, and the Fed, of course, is looking at the 10s and the 2s as they always do. But I guess to a more general question for you, overall, tariff policies impacting the broader economy, how?
Look, I think in a word, chaos, right? The abrupt implementation and then revisions, they're calling it red light, green light tariff policy. And I think it's fairly well put. As we said, this has introduced significant volatility into capital markets. Volatility is the rule of the day. We've seen some of the biggest intraday swings up and down in market history. Economists at the moment are increasing recession concerns on the back of this. Goldman Sachs say 45% chance we move into recession, citing the disruptive nature of tariffs specifically. JP Morgan say 60% chance of recession, highlighting reduced investment and consumer spending. So, look, we've got some tough times on the horizon. In reference to your earlier point, I think the Treasury yields going up was the catalyst for Trump to reverse sort of policy on tariffs and soften the blow there. I think we're realizing where the Trump put sits, and it's on borrowing rates, because if borrowing rates go up, they have no chance to grow the economy. So it's tough, and we'll see how it shapes out.
Yeah. So from where you guys sit, obviously, and you look at this, and obviously you're looking at precious metals, but when you look at the tariffs, to look at the overall strategy and what's going on in markets, do you think the strategy is working? You say, yes, it is working. Where do you guys sit when you look at it from the kind of that 10,000-foot overview?
I mean, that's the trillion-dollar question at the moment. On paper, as you know, the goal is to pressure the world, and especially China, into opening up their markets to American products, to encourage domestic exports while boosting the U.S. economy. In practice, as we sort of reference, shifting rules are creating more confusion than confidence. Look at the smartphone exemption, for example, right? If a phone is exempt, but its Chinese-made battery isn't, because 80% of lithium-ion smartphone batteries are made in China, they basically dominate every step of the supply chain, then, we have to ask, what is the policy objective exactly, right? These carve-outs give the impression that big donors, major corporations get special treatment, while smaller manufacturers and suppliers are left out in the cold. And this perception of favoritism, whether it's true or not, is already chilling business investment, and it's damaging America's credibility as a trading partner. We'll see what happens shorter term and how they manifest. Longer term will be the test, right? Does it incentivize domestic manufacturing? But again, it's like everything we do is fraught, right? Right now, we need to strengthen the dollar. We need to cement our position as global reserve currency. But if we want to boost exports longer term, a strong currency makes that difficult. So I don't have the answers. I think we're going to see volatility. Whether or not this works, like I said, it's the trillion-dollar question, but we're going to see volatility in the meantime.
I mean, listen, the fall in the dollar is not gone unnoticed to me. Now under 199.63 right now for the DXY, the U.S. dollar index, if you're following that. So the DXY has taken quite a tumble, where it was hovering around 112, 108, 106. Now it's broken under 100. So that for sure has not gone unnoticed. We're speaking with Philip Patrick from Birch Gold. Of course, you can text the word America to 989898 as always, and find out if gold is right for you. And gold's been on one heck of a run, and I don't see it stopping anytime soon, especially after you listen to the Federal Reserve Chairman today. He talks about maybe insurance firing back up a little bit. Inflation firing back up a little bit, obviously due to tariffs. But let's talk about investors who hear the Federal Reserve today. If they're watching him and they're thinking, oh, geez, inflation is going to fire back up. That's not good. How do I protect myself? How are investors responding to these challenges in your estimation right now?
Yeah, look, he was talking about Powell today. He was saying how he was stuck between the dual mandate, right? We need to sort of bring inflation down, but at the end of the day, we need to stimulate the economy. This was very much sort of stagflationary rhetoric coming from the Fed. Gold skyrocketed on the back of that. Gold in these climates does very well, right? The all-time high we've just seen was the 25th all-time high for gold this year alone, right? So it tells you where things are heading. The last time we had a stagflationary climate in the US was early 70s to early 80s. Everything was flat and basically went down. Gold went up over 700% in that time period because in those climates, safe haven commodities do very well. And I think there are so many catalysts for gold. We're seeing central bank demand at all-time highs. As you mentioned, we're seeing a weakening US dollar, which drive gold's price up. We're seeing an unclear path now from the Federal Reserve as well. So the fundamentals, at least in my lifetime, I've not seen them stronger for metals. Look, I say all the time, I was a banker. If you'd asked me in the early 2000s about gold, I would have laughed you out the room because it didn't grow in the 1900s relative to other asset classes. This century is an entirely different picture, right? We're seeing huge explosion of debt, increase in the money supply. That's the climate in which gold grows. By the way, as a final point, projections are across the board up. UBS gold over 4,500 by the end of the year. Bank of America raised 3,600. So, investment banks see it as well.
Yeah. We're speaking with Philip Patrick from Birch Gold. Of course, you can text America to 989898. Just take out your mobile phone, type the word America, send it to the number 989898 to get started with our friends from Birch Gold. Of course, an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. Thousands of satisfied customers. Check them out, see if it's right for you. And they do a great job. Philip, always great to have you on the show. Thanks so much.
Thank you, guys.
Phil Patrick from Birch Gold right here live from Studio 6B. Paul Nolan's here. Paul, you've been talking about this stuff for a long time. What'd you think about what Philip had to say? And then give me what else is going on in your news.
Well, I think his accent gives him a 20 IQ point.
Yes. No doubt. Way smarter than all of us.
Totally.
So even if he wasn't, the accent makes him sound incredible.
Yeah, he does.
No, but he's right. I think he's right on point. And I've said is a lot of times we get these guys on, and sometimes I can zone out. This guy's great. I mean, he's legit. He knows what he's talking about. He's on top of the news. He knows the entire geopolitical landscape. So he's definitely someone, in my opinion, who's worth listening to.
Look at the run gold. When we started talking about gold here, it was about 1,600, maybe even less than that. What's it now? Crossed 3,400, 33, 34, 35, something like that.
Yeah. More than doubled.
And if you look at the chart, if you know how to actually look at the chart and look at the moving averages and look at where gold is, I mean, the chart would tell you that it's still got a lot of upward. It's the chart says up. That's what it says, and obviously the time we're living in says up as well. Obviously, so Paul, what else is going on in the news?
Well, a couple little things. Well, not little, but we were talking about the corruption across the board, and I thought this story was just so typical. Kathy Hochul, she apparently is in a war of words with the explosive claims she threatened President Trump over her power over the New York appeal judges. As the New York appellate panel deciding Trump's $480 million fraud penalty drags into its second year, Hochul stands accused of using her power over state judges to implicitly threaten the president. White House sources claim Hochul told Trump, "I control the judges," during a February meeting in the Oval Office to discuss the issues of the Manhattan congestion tax. You guys remember that? Where Trump said it ain't happening. Well, she threatened him at that point. The president, and according to sources, perceived the conversation was an implicit threat to appeal against the civil fraud ruling in the February 24 New York Supreme Court Judge Arthur Engoron, who ordered Trump to pay $364 million for doing something everybody does when trying to secure loans with assets. So anyway, the spokesman for the governor said that The Governor Hochul has never said this or anything similar to President Trump or anyone. She said the governor respects the independence of the judiciary and never attempted to interfere in ongoing cases and does not have any role to play in the judicial process, nor did she ever say that she did. Someone must have completely misheard the governor during this conversation or is purposely lying to advance the political agenda. And Trump's administration said, of course, she would deny attempting to extort the president of the United States, just like she denied overseeing the weaponization of the justice system in her own state. So once again, I mean, it's hard to believe anything Kathy Hochul says. So, I don't know. I'm just completely disgusted by this wackadoodle who's in there and making Cuomo look like a sane governor.
Eat the sausage.
Eat the sausage.
All right, we'll wrap it up a little bit from everybody on a Wednesday night when we get back live from Studio 6B.
More gifts than UNICEF. This is unbelievable. It's like
all
Christmas.
right.
It's
So
Christmas in April.
I just got my gift from that guy.
That guy. The
Yes.
man. Hold on, I gotta.
And a letter. He wrote me a letter, Paulie. It
Yeah.
says to Rick Delgado's hashtag Team Chemtrails. I write this letter to you, Delgado, with a heavy heart, hearing that you lost your beloved Harrison Ford.
Aw,
yes, we did.
that was
Thank you
nice.
very much.
Yeah.
I cannot say I'm sorry enough to take away the sorrow you're going through. I'm very sorry. Well, that was very nice. Thank you. I'm still trying to figure out life without my dear dog lady. I rescued her when she was 1.5 years old. She lived to be 15. Wow, that's nice. That's awesome. That's an awesome life. It was the absolute best 14 years of my life. She went with me everywhere. She was unequivocally my better half. When everyone walked away, she was still there.
Did you say her name was Lady?
No, his dog lady.
That guy's
his
dog
dog
was named Lady. Yeah.
The dog was named Lady.
Dog lady. Yeah.
Oh my God! And my cousin Roger, who's probably watching right now, their dog growing up when we used to go over there as kids was named Lady.
Oh.
I've never heard that again in a dog. That's
Really?
so.
I've heard that before. It's a beautiful
That's
name. Yeah,
unbelievable.
my uncle had a dog named Lady.
When everyone walked away, she was still there. She helped me through some of the darkest days of my life.
I did best.
This is the reason I haven't been in the chat lately, as I have, if I haven't been drinking at night, I've been watching quietly in the background. I truly appreciate your part at LFS6B. Don't listen to Slick or Big D.
He doesn't anyway. Don't worry.
I'm right there with you and your
Yeah.
conspiracy theories. It's just they're theories.
I got to give it.
Chemtrails are not a theory.
Right.
Very
Exactly.
nice.
That's actually the truth. Thank you for everything you do, Gary Messier. He included, of course, the stuff. P.S. I hope you like your tinfoil hat. Now that you're talking conspiracy theories, you can put on your hat. LOL. Enjoy the small heater, too. No more running to heat your socks between segments. Thank you very much.
He doesn't want to miss you in the chat.
That guy,
Yeah.
Gary Messier. I will definitely be using my heater so I could keep.
Guys, very important, not to cut you off, Rick, but very important. Alice Nielsen from Denmark gave us 3 $100 super chats.
Damn.
Let's not miss that. That's amazing. The last one said, great to see you live, Slick. He's in Denmark, so it's like 3 a.m. there, I believe. I'm just paraphrasing from his message I missed earlier. 3 super chats from Alice Nielsen, $300. Thank you, my man, from Denmark. Big D, that's sweet
incredible.
from him.
Thank you. Beautiful. By the way, was I wrong about that guy's penmanship?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yes, very
and
nice.
Rocky Patel's, man, no better than that.
Leslie Hester just sent you to just arrive.
You're going to love it.
To the studio.
Just in time for the draft. Just in time. You can wear it during the draft, and if you get a draft, it comes in handy.
Yeah.
Look at that. Whoa, that's look at that color.
No
Perfect
way.
Look at that.
Wow.
That is beautiful.
Who was that, Big D? What's her name, the young lady?
Leslie Hester.
Leslie's the best.
Leslie, I love you.
In an odd turn of
That is
events, it's the only
awesome.
blanket that actually makes you cold.
Exactly. Yeah. Like I said, she could use it for the draft, literally.
Yeah, literally.
The draft.
Wow,
That's
thank
good.
you.
How nice is that?
That is
Oh,
gorgeous.
That's
Come
good,
on.
Slick.
This is Christmas in April.
Man,
I love it.
Really, it's
And
crazy in here tonight.
I got a
The gifts.
heater
Yeah.
from that guy.
Now you can have safe socks. I mean, warm socks.
Doug,
Now
I got a foot heater.
Now I don't have to run to the bathroom and blow my socks.
Just set the studio on fire instead. Great.
I can blow my socks right
That
here.
could be an improvement, though.
All right, let's do some sports and we'll do some news, and we'll wrap it up for a Wednesday. I want to thank everybody in the audience, and of course, thank everybody who super chat and the gifts. Really just too much.
Just crazy. Too much.
Thank you so
You
much.
guys are too much.
Slick, let's do some sports. Sports is brought to you by Mike Lindell. LFS6B is the promo code to use. What's going on?
All right, one sweep of the scoreboard and one story. NHL, we got the Hurricanes right now trailing the Canadians 4-2. Well, end of third. Looks like the Canadians have won that game. Or at the end of regulation, the Canadians to the playoffs for Montreal. And we got the Red Wings over the Devils 3-1, 8 to go in the third. End of two, Predators 5-1 over the Stars. The Jets earlier tonight defeated the Ducks 2-1 in OT. Golden Knights and Canucks 10 p.m. puck drop. Oilers and Sharks, and do you know the way to San Jose? That game puck drop is at 10:30. NBA action play-in. Looks like that's just about over too now. 5 to go in the third. The Heat are up by 20 over the Bulls in Chicago. Oof. So it looks like that East play-in is going to go to the Miami Heat there. And the Mavs are taking on the Kings. 10 p.m. I want to catch that game, Rick. I think that'll be a good one with Dallas. So they're taking on Sacramento. Baseball scores, look them up yourself. I ain't got time for that. All right, let's get to a good... Come on now. Baseball, come on. It's too early to get excited, Big D.
Look them up yourself. I don't got time for that.
No, we don't. I
never heard a sportscaster do that.
How about Korean baseball?
Yeah,
We have that.
Remember that? That was unbelievable. Big D. Who did he have? The Samurai Sumos or something? That was his team. He always had them. I don't know. Anyway, earlier today.
I ain't got time for that.
Hey, come on. Now, well, it's baseball. We know how it is. Yankees are going to win. They win all the time. The Mets lose all the time. Cincinnati blows it all the time. It's the same scores. They know. The Dodgers always play at 10:30. We never have a Dodger game anyway live. Bondi announces lawsuit against Maine for refusing to ban trans athletes from girls' sports. This was announced earlier this morning, but important that I get to this. Jackson Thompson and Ryan Gatos, contributors to Fox News. The U.S. Justice Department announced a lawsuit against the state of Maine for its continued defiance of President Donald Trump's executive order to keep biological males out of girls' and women's sports, and violations of Title IX. That continues, right? Attorney General Pam Bondi announced the lawsuit at a press conference on Wednesday morning. It is the latest chapter in the battle between the state and the Trump administration after a federal judge paused a funding freeze that was initiated by the U.S. Department of Agriculture. Bondi was joined at the press conference by Department of Education Secretary Linda McMahon. Good to see her there. Conservative activist Riley Gaines, love her. Maine GOP State Representative Laurel Libby, Maine high school girl Cassidy, and fencer Stephanie Turner was there too, another girl I love, who recently drew viral attention to the issue of trans inclusion in women's fencing with a clip of her kneeling in protest of a trans opponent. The Department of Justice will not sit by when women are discriminated against in sports. Bondi said at the press conference why they have been through, what they've been through is horrific. By the way, why they're there, they might want to look into the Miss America contest too with that woman from Maine. We want to get the states to comply with us, Bondi added. I believe they will. Mills released a statement later on Wednesday. Tuesday is the latest expected salvo in an unprecedented campaign to pressure the state of Maine to ignore the Constitution and abandon the rule of law. This matter has never been about school sports or the protection of women and girls, as has been claimed. It is about states' rights and defending the rule of law against a federal government bent on imposing its will. So because our government has common sense now, they're imposing their will. How funny is that? Well, good. Let them impose their will. They need to. This is how I feel about that. Not that you asked for my opinion, but I'm giving you the story here. The difference between males and females is why Title IX and its implementing regulations permit and encourage sex-separated sports to ensure girls have an equal opportunity to participate, excel, and reap the educational benefits of athletics. Yet Maine's policies flout this core Title IX principle by allowing boys to compete in girls' sports without regard for these biological realities, is what the complaint read by Bondi. The complaint said the U.S. will seek judgment granting declaratory, injunctive, and damages relief for defendants' violations of Title IX and the federal funding contracts it signed, promises to comply with Title IX and its implementing regulations. You know, if they're not already, they're one step away from losing all their federal funding, and that will bankrupt the school, in my opinion. So there you go. And that's a wrap in sports. Back to you guys.
All right, Slick, very good. Sports is brought to you by Mike Lindell. Let's do a little more news. We'll wrap it up with Rick Delgado. What's going on, Delgado?
Let's see. A 10-year-old, believe it or not, California girl, this is good news, by the way, is set to graduate from college this spring.
Wow.
10 years old.
Is that one of Elon's kids?
No.
Almost smart as me.
Her name is Elisa Perales. I just enjoy learning, she said. There's so many interesting things out there. She learned to read at 2 years old and began doing algebra at the age of 5. I was still picking my nose at 5. Well, at 15, too. Started taking classes at Crafton Hills College, a community college in California, where she was just 8 years old when she was enrolled. Yeah, and according to this report from WABC from ABC7 in California, she said she told the outlet, "It's very fun to me. It's almost as fun as playing outside or riding my bike or doing whatever. I just enjoy learning. There are so many interesting things out there." The 10-year-old from San Bernardino is now 1 month away from graduating from the 2-year college and is currently waiting to see if she'll be accepted to Stanford University. Stanford, of course, you're going to accept this girl. She's smarter than everybody in your school. Upon graduating from Crafton Hills College, she will have just turned 11 by the time of the ceremony. And get this, she'll not have just one degree, but 2 associate degrees, one in multiple sciences and the other one in mathematics, with a final GPA in both that is close to perfect 4.0, according to a report by the Inland Empire Community News.
Huh.
Wow.
Yeah, I remember what that was like.
Talk about that, huh?
That was tough.
Yeah. That's crazy. In other California news, did you see this headline? California mandates homeowners to install wheelchair ramps on porches of all homes for disabled burglars.
No,
that's from the Babylon Bee. It's hysterical. They're so good.
Yeah, so let's see. According to this, before she started Crafton, she explained that she was going around, basically hanging around many older kids, but didn't seem intimidated. And her father continued to kind of push her in this direction, and it's kind of paid off. I guess she started talking very young as well. And like I said, at 2 years old, she was already reading and speaking full sentences. So there you have it. A little good news coming out of California, which is rare these days when you talk about California. But this 10-year-old girl set to graduate college this spring and probably has a great future ahead of her. Let's hope DEI doesn't destroy her.
Yeah. You want to see what I got from that guy?
Oh, yeah. What'd you get?
This.
Oh, man. Look at that. That's
what is
awesome.
That?
Look at that.
That is so cool.
Is that you and Dilbert?
That is actually cool. That could be.
That's me.
Wait, which one is which?
That's me and Dilbert hanging out.
Oh, that's Big D with the glasses on top of his head. Look at that. Come on. Those look like your glasses, too.
That's pretty cool.
That is crazy.
Did he whittle that out of wood himself? He probably did.
Look
at that rocker.
Pretty cool, though, right?
I'm going to read his letter tomorrow night.
Chair.
I got a nice letter, too. Did you get a letter, Big D?
I didn't see one.
Oh,
yeah, it's probably in the box.
It's in the box. We got to read our letters tomorrow night. We have no time.
Yeah.
Thanks to that guy.
That guy is the man.
Great stuff. Look at the sandals on this guy.
And Big D. Don't forget Alice. Yeah. Big D. Alice Nielsen from Denmark. Big D. Don't forget him.
Nielsen from Denmark.
$300 in super chats tonight. I know you're busy around wrapping boxes.
Holy
300, my man. That's big bucks, man.
As always, we salute all of our emergency personnel and, of course, everybody on this show. Aaron Friend, great job as always. But most of all, like every night, we salute you, the live from Studio 6B audience. We really appreciate it. We love you all. Thanks for all the support. Thanks for being here 2 hours each night, 8 to 10 weekdays, right here, Real America's Voice, and across the airways of 103.9 LI News Radio. Enjoy the rest of your night, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow night. We're back on a Thursday. Kevin Downey Jr. in the house tomorrow night. We'll see you then, live from Studio 6B.